Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at how AgilePoint can work with blockchain network for creating blockchain apps for enterprise. The blockchain technology has pretty much become a household term by now. Many people wrongly think that the application of blockchain technology lies only in cryptocurrency. However, as we will see shortly, the blockchain technology is far more versatile. Enterprises no longer question whether blockchain is even worth the attention. On the contrary, they are now proactively seeking new ways of incorporating this technology in their legacy systems. Technical barriers of integrating blockchain into existing systems are often the biggest obstacle to its widespread adoption. The new AgilePoint NX blockchain connector will allow clients to integrate a blockchain network in their day-to-day business processes, creating a secure digital environment that facilitates data sharing. It will help businesses to fully utilize the power of blockchain by making it available at the business process layer so that business users can easily consume blockchain features without knowing all the nitty-gritties behind it. This means businesses don't have to rip apart their existing applications to use blockchain. So let's see this in action. So I have the build apps module open on my desktop right now, and as you can see this is a shipping process. So I'm going to use a shipping process as an example where there are multiple parties involved. There's a shipping company, there is an insurance company, there is the owner of the goods, and the trucking company. Now what you see over here is there is a new connector called Ethereum blockchain. It has four actions as at the time of this recording. The first action is deploy smart contract. This creates an instance of a smart contract in blockchain. Execute smart contract. This executes a transaction in a smart contract where it changes the state of smart contract. Query smart contract just reads the value out of a smart contract. And smart contract has a concept of putting event logs in a log area where event logs are kept, and you can read those event logs as well using the fourth activity. As far as the process is concerned, it goes something like this. So a shipment would be created by a shipping company, a shipping order. Once the form is submitted, it goes and creates an instance of this smart contract in blockchain. Then a task is assigned to the trucking company where they assign a truck driver to this shipment. On the day of shipment, the truck driver picks up the goods. As soon as he picks up the goods and submits the form, it goes and updates the status in the smart contract to in transit. Once the truck driver reaches the destination, he again opens the form and updates the status to ready for delivery. He updates his arrival date as well, and the status is updated back in the blockchain. Then a task is assigned to the customer. Customer sees the goods and either accepts or rejects the delivery. If he accepts the delivery, the smart contract is marked as completed this instance. But if the goods are damaged, he marks it as opens a claim, and the status is marked as open a claim over there in smart contract, and a task is assigned to the insurance company. An insurance company can work on it, either they accept it or reject it. The smart contract which I'm using for today's demo is the one over here. I have created it in Visual Studio Code. So as you can see, it has an enum with various states over here, and it has various methods. So if you see, when an instance is created, I pass in the shipping company's name, insurance company name, trucking company's name, owner's name, email. The state is set to created and the sender's address. Once the shipment is picked up, I change the state to in transit and update the shipping date. Similarly, there are other states. When I mark an order as completed, I also add a event log over here. So here is my event log. And somewhere down over here, I have a function which is a view only function. That means I can read values out of a smart contract over here. So I've deployed this to Windows Azure. Now if I go back to my browser over here, I'm going to run this instance. But before that, I'm going to just show you how it was configured. So deploy smart contract is more of a little bit more technical shape. What happens is you're deploying the executable binary to the blockchain. So I'm going to drag and drop this one, And if you see over here, I created an access token. So my business users don't have to deal with all these nitty-gritties. IT might have created it where they say that here is the endpoint which you are going to connect to. I'm connecting to a blockchain in Azure. Here is how you are going to connect. Use either a private key or username password combination. And smart contracts have a concept of application binary interface, which I have pasted over here. For those of you who might have to create this access token, it is pretty easy. You go over here, you can just say copy contract ABI from the build file and just copy and paste over here. Now, once I have done this, because this is creating an instance of the smart contract, I have to provide the smart code binary, the binary code for the smart contract. So you can right click again on it and just copy the bytecode and you can paste it over here. Now, because I had a constructor, I see those 5 parameters over here and I can map it to my form data. As you can see, I've mapped the 5 parameters coming from my form. Now, once the smart contract is created, I get back a contact address, a block number, and a transaction hash. At a minimum, I have to store the contract address. I have created those as my process variables over here. Now, once an instance has been created and it's time to now update the state of a smart contract, I use the execute smart contract shape. Now, this is a totally non-technical one. All you do is you select an access token your IT has designed. In the drop down, you see the methods, the transaction methods which you can call. I want to call the pickup method. I pass in the contact address which I saved in the last shape when I was deploying it, and then just pass in the input parameters the pickup method is expecting. So in this case, pickup method was just expecting a shipping date. So on the right hand side, what you see is the smart contract method signature. So if you see over here, for pickup, all I was expecting was a shipping date. Similarly, rest of the shapes have been configured as well. Now, if I were to query a smart contract, it would have been pretty similar. My process doesn't need that, but I could have just connected to a smart contract. It shows me all the methods available for query. One of them is get all values. I could have just went in and said, okay, map it to contact address, so which contract I'm going to read. And then here are the values that method is returning back to me, which I could have mapped back to my form or workflow. I'm going to remove that. Okay, so this workflow has been deployed and now I'm going to run it. Now, one of the things is that once the smart contract has been executed and some values are stored over here, it's difficult to show that in an application interface. So in order to address that challenge, till now you saw that we have been integrating with blockchain at a workflow level. Now we take it one step further. I created a form where I can read the value directly on the form from the smart contract. So if you see over here, it's a very simple form. I have a contact address, I have a bunch of fields over here, and I have a auto lookup which has been configured over here. So if you see the configuration of this auto lookup, there's a new auto lookup kind which is of type blockchain. So you can see that there is an Ethereum blockchain auto lookup type where I say I want to query a smart contract. You could have executed a smart contract as well from your lookup. In this case, I'm querying. I pointed to my access token again, which my IT might have created. Since I'm getting back multiple columns, I map it to contact address, which is my first field in the form. So I'm going to enter a contact address over here. It shows me the methods which I can call, and I just do the mapping. So just that way, I could very easily integrate my forms directly to a smart contract. I don't need to write any kind of code for this. I'm going to use that in a demo just to view how the smart contract is progressing. So with that in mind, I'm going to go into AgilePoint's Work Center and create an instance of my application. So I'm playing the role of a shipping company right now. I bring the form up. For the sake of demo, I just put an autofill button over here. Keep an eye on the customer name, Michael287. We pre-filled all the information. A trucking company name is Schneider International and insurance provider is Nationwide. So I'm going to just go ahead and click submit. Now for the sake of demo, I'm going to play all the roles so that I don't have to log in and log out. So I can see that there has been an instance which has been created. So if I look at the process, a form was submitted, an instance of smart contract was created, and the task is now sitting with the trucking company's operator. Now, but before that, let's go to Manage Center and search for a shipping application and look at all the running instances. So here is my latest running instance. And as you can see, the contract was created and it returned back the contract address for me. I'm going to just copy it for my reference. Now we are back to our process. I'm going to click on this one. As I said, I'm going to play all the roles in this demo. I'll open a form as a trucking company operator and I will select the truck driver's name and his phone number is auto-populated and click submit. Next, it moves on to the next shape, which is it assigns a task to the truck operator. So I'm going to go over there, open the task. So the truck driver sees his task. The shipping date is auto-populated to the time when the form is opened. I'm going to just say that yes, this is the shipping date. Now, as you can see, what happened is it is going through some transitions, right? So at this point of time, the status should be changed to in transit. So I'm going to use that other application which I created, which had a form. I'm going to preview it. And I'll paste my shipping contact address just to show you what's happening over here. So you see that the status is in transit. So the workflow is progressing correctly. I'm going to go over here. Now the truck has reached the destination. So I put in the delivery date or arrival date and click submit. And the next action is executed, which marks the shipment ready for delivery and assigns a task to the owner. Now if I go back and click on this get data again, you see that the status is now changed to ready to delivery. It is for the same customer which we just now looked at. Okay, so let's just quickly go in and play the role of customer. Now customer has an option. He can see obviously all the shipping details. He has an option of either accepting a delivery or he can reject a delivery and initiate a claim that some goods are damaged. I'm going to just accept the shipment. Say all looks good and click submit. So as you can see, now it is marking the shipment as completed in the smart contract. And if I go back to the form again, click on get data, the shipment status has been set to completed. So what you saw in this demo is that both at the workflow level, I can very easily bring in blockchain capabilities in my existing application. I did not have to rewrite the application. I could just easily blend these shapes into the existing workflow. But also on the form level, I can, without even having to write any sort of code, I can read data out of blockchain and display it in a nicely formatted way. So those were from the form and process level. Now, before we end, there's one more topic which I wanted to show you. So we also have capability of doing a two-way communication with blockchain. So till now you have been seeing that AgilePoint is pushing information to blockchain as part of the workflow. But blockchain has, as I mentioned earlier in the video, that blockchain has a concept of events as well. So while certain events are logged into that event log in blockchain, we can listen to those events and kick off a workflow. So for example, if you see over here, when my shipment was being marked as completed, I had emitted an event. So if you go to AgilePoint's event services, you can click on add a new event. You will see a new event type called blockchain. You can give it a nice looking title. You can select which model you want to kick off, which application. So I'll say shipping offer. So once the shipment has been received and accepted by the customer, we might want to send them some shipping offers like cleaning services or furnitures. He has moved from to a new town, so he might need certain of those things. So we can send him some of those as part of the demo. So we can just give it a nice looking prefix. And then over here, I can just say connect to smart contract. Here are the various events which are available. Here is a smart contract address. Most of the smart contracts have a fixed address. It's like a global smart contract, so you can put it over here. In my scenario, it was per instance, but uh, in which case it would have been a variable. However, most of the times applications are working against a global smart contract and updating its state. So you could put a hard-coded value if you wanted as well. What is the query frequency? Now, smart contracts, when they emit out an event, you have capability of reading an event from a certain block, or you can say if you leave it empty, it would read it from beginning. So you can do that. Also, you can pass in some input parameters if your events had some input parameters. I'll just leave it blank over here. And then what you see over here are various parameters which are available in that event, and you can map it to your process variable. So you can just put the process variable over here. So when the workflow is initiated, all that data from smart contract event is automatically carried in your application. So it might look something like this. So if you see over here, I've mapped certain variables over here, and here's the smart contract it is reading. So we have capability of kicking off a workflow when an event takes place in smart contract. So it's a two-way communication. Thanks a lot for your time.